Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of That's Cakeable with more on Cakeflix Live TV. I've got to warn you, I'm not feeling the best today, so I'm gonna do the very best I can. Alright, so today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little chick and egg cake topper. And it's going to be a few different processes, a little bit of chocolate work, a little bit of modeling work, so I hope you enjoy it. Now get your screenshot ready, because if you want to have a go at doing this, I've put the material list up right now, so screenshot it now and write it down later or whatever you want to do so that you can go ahead and make this easily with all the materials I've got placed here. Okay, so now I'm about to start resolve the age-old question: what came first, the chicken or the egg? In this case, we're doing the egg first, so we need some time for it to set. So let's go ahead and get started. Okie dokie. So what we're going to do is take a good old googie egg, and I did have one hard boiled and chilled, but I dropped it yesterday and cracked it and didn't prepare. So now what I'm going to do is wrap some good old plastic wrap around it nice and firmly, like that. And then I'm going to get just a plain old rubber band and wrap that around there. So I'm doing this first because we have to let our chocolate set up a little bit, and it's coated in chocolate. Several layers, layer upon layer upon layer. So what I find best to do is to do that, then sort of twist the top there and make a little hook, because I'm going to hang this up so that it can set. And there we go. So I've got something to hang it up from. Yes, yes. Okay, now we've got some boring old plain white chocolate, and I'm going to now just dip this egg in the white chocolate, coating it pretty well, just like that. Dipping off, getting rid of all the excess there, like that. I'm going to lift it up a little bit so that I don't get a nipple on the bottom, if you know what I mean. Oh, a nipple on your bottom? That's different. Getting rid of all the excess. And then this isn't actually going to get in shot very well. I know, because I tried earlier, but what I have is a fruit hanger. It's a hanging basket for my fruit basket. You see it? Here you go. So that's what I'm using to hang this up. So now I'm just going to hang that up and set it aside and let the first layer dry. Okay. While that's drying, we're going to move on to the chicken. So to make our chicken, I've put in the materials list what we've got there. First of all, we need some modeling paste. I've separated everything out so that I know what I need, and I'm going to build it on just a styrofoam dummy. So the first part I'm going to do is our chicken's head. To do the head, I'm using 42 grams or thereabouts of yellow modeling paste. Okay. So I use Saracino. Oops, Saracino. You can use whatever you like. It's super duper simple, guys. Super simple. Just going to roll it into a bowl, and then into just a bit of an oval sort of shape. Oh, I think my dogs are about to go crazy. Okay, so that's that. Then a fair way down, I'm just making a little ridge in here for where the beak and eyes meet. Can you see that okay? Is that all right? Just like that. Okay, I'm actually going to get my little cornflower poof here, which is basically a child's sock with some cornflower in it, so that we don't stick to the bench. Next thing I need is a little bit of orange paste for the beak. So I'm taking an itty bit of orange paste right here, and I'm just rolling it into like a an oval but pointed at either end. And then I'm going to pop that right at the bottom ridge where we've just made that ridge point and squish her on. And I'm pushing into a point at the top. Just like that. Next thing I'm going to do is to take my craft knife and make a mark through the center of that beak area. And then I'm going to take my Dresden tool, my handy dandy Dresden tool, something I think most of us have, and push that in and make him a bit shocked. I'm pushing the top up and the bottom down. Then the sides of the bottom lip, I'm pushing inwards just a little bit. And that's pretty much your mouth done. Okay. Smooth that out a little bit. It's a little bit overly accentuated. Okay, now the next thing I like to do is to accentuate those little cheeks a little bit. So I go under here and then on an angle underneath the face, I pop two little lines. You see that? That's going to bring those cute little cheeks into play. You just want to squish them. And then I push down underneath where the chin is, and we're going to turn that into a neck. Just like that. And you can see we've got our cheeks and we've got our chin. And I'm just pushing those cheeks up a little bit also. Using my fingers. Best tool ever and super cheap, let me tell you. There we go. How cute are we looking already? Now once again, I could fiddle with this forever and just get those cheeks sitting exactly right, but that's pretty much how it's done. But you go ahead and fiddle and push them up more or down more, whatever sort of shape you want. And I'm not going to need all that neck, so I'm just going to pull that off. Sorry, little chickie. Hope that didn't hurt. And then the other thing I'm going to do is then go ahead and just elongate the top of his head just a little bit more. See, fussing again. Fuss, fuss, fuss. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is to give this little guy a bit of texture. I'm just using like a spoolie sort of thing. It came with like a clay tool set, but it's really cool for texture. So I'm just pressing that into my little guy all the way around. This is just like the most super simple figurine in the history of figurines. Well, maybe not quite, but you know. So I've given him a little bit of texture there. And now my secret magic weapon. I've got some 4mm sugar pearls here. And with a little bowl tool, I'm just going to put some spots in here for where his eyes are, quite low and quite a distance apart. You'll notice if you keep them further apart, he actually looks cuter. Okay. And then, with our little sugar pearls, if I can find two around the same size, 4mm, they said, 4mm. I don't think so. I'm just going to push them in. And then we go. Basically, our little chickie's head is complete. So I'm going to set that aside for a second. Before we move on to his body, we're going to do another dip of our egg. So let's go back here. This is pretty firmed up. I'm going to do one more dip of the white and do exactly the same thing and just hang it back up again. I could hear the actual egg inside moving around. It'd be my luck, this whole thing would just break open because we're live. You know, why not? Why not make a fool of me? That'd be clever. So once again, I've just coated it. It's not perfect as you can see, but that's okay. And I'm going to hang it back up on my hanger. And then we're going to move back to our little chickie. Let's go ahead and do the body. Okay, so for the body, I am using, let me double check, about 30 grams of modeling paste. And this is going to be sitting, for size comparison, this is going to be sitting on a 6-inch round display cake. So just rolling it into a ball. Rolling, rolling, rolling. And then into a teardrop shape. But we want it to be a little bit chunky, a little bit fat. So, like, squash him down. Squash him down and make the belly section come out more. And you know what? That, my friends, that, my friends, is about it for the body. Pretty simple. Once again, could fuss for a lifetime, not going to. Okie doke. And now we're going to do the same thing with my little spoolie and just give him some texture. All the way around. How is everybody doing this week? Thank you for tuning back in. So excited that we launch properly next week. How cool is that? And that we've got another whole day of amazing demos with caking all over the world tomorrow. Boom shakalaka. Okay, so I think we've got enough texture on him now. So I'll pop my spoolie back away. And now we're going to make some itty bitty wings. So for the wings, I think I've got around about, I'm using about 6 grams. Like I said, and I'll pop that materials list up for you. I'm pretty sure I've been efficient enough, just for something new, to put the measurements on there. So I'm taking my yellow sugar paste, just like that. Not too thin. And then I've got a little rose petal cutter or rose leaf cutter. This one's a double whammy. And I'm going to cut 2 of them out. These are about, I think it's about a 2.5 to 3 centimeter cutter. And that's going to be the wings. Fly, little birdie, fly. That's up to you. You can texture before or after, or just not texture at all. That is fine. But then I'm just going to, with a little bit of water, my water pen, if it's going to cooperate, on either side, just a very, very little bit. Pointed it downwards, and I'm just pinching the little wing like that, and pushing that on. Once again, doing the same thing on the other side, and pushing that on. Ta-da! We have itty bitty wings. Right, now I'm going to skewer him into my styrofoam dummy. So the first thing we're going to do is sit him on there and then pop my skewer through the center. Then I'm just going to measure the head up there because I don't want the skewer to come through his head particularly. So that should about do it with my sexy pink secateurs. Then I'm just going to, once again, a little more water on the top. And I'm going to do it this way, guys, so I can see a bit better. I'm just going to pop his head on. How cute is he? I'm not biased. I think he's gorgeous. The last thing our birdie needs, actually, let's go on to the egg. Hang on, let me check if it's set enough. Yep, it's definitely set enough. Let's go back to the egg for a second. So what I have here is chocolate that's dried up far too much. So I'm just going to quickly give it a nuke. And that's the other thing that I'd probably do. Burn my chocolate live. Go, Jhanine. Not today. Not today. Okay. Let's see how we went. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken some white chocolate. I'll just change angle so you can see the colour. And I've made it sort of like a skin tone colour. You know, the outside of an egg colour. Okay. I'm going to do exactly the same thing that we've already done with the white. Just a bit of a lumpy egg. But anyway, that's okay because I'm rushing. And dip it straight in there. Give it its last little coating. Once again, take the excess off. Once again, I can hear the egg moving inside. Moving and shaking. This is just such a cool, effective method. Okie dokie. That'll be the last I need the chocolate, I believe. And once again, hang it up to set. Now we can go back to our little chickie. Chickie, chickie, chickie. Let's make some feet. So, to make the feet, I think they're about 3.5 grams of orange paste each. Move you out of the way for a second, little guy. Little guy's going to need a name. And then I'm going to just roll these into little balls. And then once again, pinching one end. You see that? One end. Like that. And then pushing that end out. Super duper simple. All right, that's it. Last time I had a tad count. How many times I said tad? Today I need a simple count because that was the other thing I know I said. I don't know how many times. And then I've taken my Dresden tool and just made little marks either side of the footsies. Also rounding them out a little bit just to make them look a little bit cuter. The rounder, the cuter. Of course, so go ahead and do that with the second one. It was silly. It should have been a here's one I prepared earlier moment. But anyway, I didn't. Oh, and please excuse the nails. Who else is dying for the beauty therapist to reopen my nails? Same again. Just little marks either side. And I'm rounding that out. And then we have 2 itty bitty feet. Now we're going to pop these back on our little guy. Once again, a little bit of water in my water pen. And I'm just putting the water down at the bottom of his belly. And then we just squash them on. just like that. Okay, I'm doing a couple of little finishing touches on him. I want him to look a little bit worried because basically what's happened in this cake, and I know it's probably a tad morbid, is he's the only one that's hatched out and the other two haven't been successful. So we want him to look a little bit worried, okay? So to make him look a little bit worried, I'm going to give him a brow expression of worry. We'll see here, yes. So I'm just using an edible pen and giving him that worried expression with his little brows. Ooh, so worried. And another edible marker in white. Just to be a little bit extra, because sometimes I'm a little bit extra. Sometimes, Jhanine, what are you talking about? I haven't textured his wings. And I'm just putting a little catch light in either of those eyes. Just like that. Okay. I'm going to give him a little bit of hair. 3 little tufts right on the top. So to make the little bits of hair, all I'm doing is taking 3 tiny itty bitty pieces of yellow modelling paste and rolling them into teardrops. Una, two, and here in Australia, 3. Now I'm just going to pop them together. Maybe, if that wants to cooperate. 1, 2, and 3, just like that. And then once again, a little bit of water atop little birdie's head. And pop them on. Aww, you just want to eat him? Well, you can. Last but not least, to finish our little birdie. I know I haven't textured his wings. I'll probably just leave it for now. But of course, you can go ahead and texture the wings. Just going to give him some rosy cheeks. So a little bit of petal dust on my very cool, very mystical and magical unicorn brush. And that is it, guys. Little chickie is done. So I'm just going to pop this stuff away now as we move on to finishing our eggs. Okay, now to do the eggs, let's see if this is set. Yep, we're set. We're set. Okay, to finish our eggs, I'm just going to get my equipment that is required. It is a bit lumpy because I have rushed it, but if you take a little bit more time, it'll be nice and smooth, so don't worry about that. Now what we need to do is cut this plastic wrap off. Just like that. And pull it away from the egg. Now we're going to get crackage, and that's fine because these eggs are meant to be cracked. Take your time with it, especially if your egg's not hard boiled like mine isn't. Oops. Not cooperating just yet. It does make a bit of a mess. Oh, and all the bits that drop off, don't get rid of them because they come in handy later for a little bit of extra deco. Echo deco. This is being somewhat painful. I don't have any release yet. You will eventually get a release. I need a tool to help. I'm just getting my Dresden tool into the thicker sections that lumped up a little bit. This is where the egg will crack, knowing my luck. Come on. Come on. Right. And this is where things don't always go as planned. I've made like 6 of them and haven't had a problem. Oh, here we go. I'm starting to feel release. Okay. And then just pull it off. Yay! She did it. Then pull that plastic out. And you've got a cracked egg. How fabulous. Right, we're not going to throw those away because I want to keep, I'll throw some of them away, but not all of them. And we'll get rid of that. Okay, now I did do a couple. Here's some I prepared earlier for us. And now what you want to do is get a little bit of paper towel because we're going to get messy. We're going to get messy, ladies and gentlemen. I'm taking my paint palette and I've got a little bit of brown gel colour. And I'm just going to pop that into the palette. And I just stabbed my bird in the head. But he's okay. He's okay, everyone. Don't panic. And then I'm going to get a little bit, just the tiniest little bit of water in the centre here. Here we go. And the next thing you want to do, which I didn't, I did this first time and it was wonderful. Put on some gloves. You can need gloves. Like I said, we get messy now. Gloves on. Glove up, everyone. Glove up. Pop your eggs onto your paper towel. A little bit of water on that brush, just a bit. And this part is so much fun. Flick. We're getting egg speckles. See that? How cool. Cool, cool. All the way around with the speckly eggs. All the way to the bottom of the jar. Okay. And of course, we did have a couple of little bits that we broke off. And it's best to do them too to keep everything uniform. Don't go overboard with it. But that's fun. That is super fun. Eggs are prepared. Now we actually get to put the whole thing together. So I'm going to pop these aside for a moment. Just wipe my workspace because, of course, there are speckles everywhere. There's a speck over here and a speck over there. I did it. This is something I prepared earlier. I made just a little display cake that our little chickie's going to go onto. Alrighty. So, of course, this little guy isn't set yet. So I would recommend that you let him set a bit more before you do this part. That's not going to work, Jhanine. Don't even try it. Sometimes I get carried away with myself. And then I say, that was a really silly idea, Jhanine. Silly idea. And I live with regrets for the next month. Okay, so I'm just going to take this little guy and we're going to pop him on to our cake. Now, his skewer has actually come out, which is probably a good thing in this case. I'm just going to sit him around about here. Okie dokie. Where's that little hole? His head will probably move now. Oh no, not too bad. Not too bad. His feet do want to come off, but that's okay. So we have said chickie, top of cake. Now let's start putting our eggs on. So to attach the eggs, we're going to just use a little bit of chocolate. And placement is totally up to you. So I'm going to, might actually bring you to this camera so that you can see where I'm placing him, if I can get you. Oh, there we go, in frame. So I'm going to put one next to him, round about there. So I'm just attaching that with a little bit of chocolate, and I'm going to put one behind him, the egg that he's cracked out of, about there. And just to even out the whole aesthetic, I'll put one about there. I don't like that white showing. I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay. Oh, don't want to set. Excuse me, we're on live television. There's no time for this malarkey. Please set for me. Let's try again. Hopefully it'll stay. Fingers crossed, everyone. Keep your fingers crossed for me. Now we need to make some yolks and some egg white. Now, should we have a little discussion about the real name of egg whites? Does everybody know the real name for egg whites? My dad was a stickler for this sort of stuff when I was little and taught me all that sort of thing. It's albumin, people. For those that don't know. For those that do, well done. So for the albumin, I'm using some cold glaze actually, but you can use clear piping gel. So this is the Saraceno cold glaze. And then what I'm going to do is pop it in the microwave for just a few seconds, just to get it a little more liquid. And here, just makes the effect a little more realistic. Move you out of the way, Mr. Basket. Thank you very much. And then I'm going to pop it in a piping bag. Yep, nice and liquid. Just like that. So you don't need too much of it. Well, you go with however you feel like you want it to be. You do you, boo. And then we're going to pop that onto said cake. So let's do it. I want to have this one sort of dripping a little bit around here. And of course I don't want to make it look too uniform, because if you crack an egg, it's not going to be uniform. It's just going to pour out. A little bit on the egg, a little bit on our little guy, because, well, he's just come out of an egg too. And then a little bit in the back one also. Pushing that around so it doesn't look as uniform. That egg hasn't stuck. That's okay. I just have to remember to be careful. And even having some like dripping down the cake would be pretty cool, like I've just done. And there we have the albumin, or egg white, whatever you wish to call it. if you can see that. And if I show you, I'm probably going to lose that top egg. See that? Okay. The next part of the magic is the yolk. Another piping bag. And this time, I'm going in with some homemade lemon curd that I have tinted ever so slightly with some egg yellow gel colour. Once again, you don't need a great deal. Pop that into the piping bag. And then we just cut that tip off. I'm probably going to make that a little larger. And I might do it over the cup. So a reasonably large cut in there. And then I'll transition you back to this view. And we're going to pop our yolk on. So it's straight up and down. Hello, 1 egg yolk. This one broke, I've decided. And there you go. How clever is that? And super, super simple. I said that again. Are we doing our simples count? Let me move this up a little so you can see better. If it wants to cooperate, which of course we're live and it's not going to want to. Woohoo! There you go. And that is pretty much it, guys. It is super duper easy, super effective. Oh, we're still getting some drip there, which is fine. And that's it. That is it. That's how you create this cute little cake. Bring you back here. That was like my quickest live ever. Got my cupboard open again. I do not like having the cupboard open. Leaves it wide open for closet monsters. We don't want that. So I'll just quickly run back here to the materials list if you didn't catch it before. Very, very simple ingredients. Use whatever you like. And the other thing I didn't do you know what else I didn't do? And I'm pretty sure I threw them out too. Is put little extra bits of cracked egg on. That's okay. We can add them now. Just pop a little bit of cracked egg on where it's opened up. A little bit on his foot. Doesn't really matter where it goes. Perfecto. And that is it, guys. That is how you make this cute little chick topper with realistic cracked eggs. I'm sure that you could try it for, like, say, a breakfast sort of dish. You could make some fondant bacon or, you know, that sort of thing as well, and make it probably not quite as morbid as my idea. There's something really wrong with me. I think I've been in isolation far too long. Well, I know it's short and sweet, but make sure that you stay tuned for next week when the real deal begins and everybody comes on board and has their very own Cakeflix live TV episode. So many shows to look forward to. Well, I know I can't wait. And I hope that I get to see all of you there. And don't forget to let me know. I've got my handles down the bottom here. Don't forget to let me know that if you try this little guy or something like it, tag me somewhere and let me know because I love seeing that sort of thing. All right, guys. Well, may as well head out of here because, you know, I could sit around and talk for another 20 minutes, but, well, that'll probably blow the pants off you. I will see you next time. Until then, stay safe, stay home, and go and get your cake on. All right, guys. See ya.